Meanwhile, Kings and Bulls tonight. Is our old friend here, Chris? Our old
Yeah.
buddy? Let's bring him in. Formerly of CBS Sacramento, now CBS Chicago. It's been too long. Marshall Harris. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm just happy to be up with y'all talking about some hoops and whatnot. I mean, we're in very different situations in our two respective cities. One city celebrating really kind of a parade, if you will, back to the playoffs at this point.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, you know you're going. It's just a matter of who are you going to play? What's your seed going to be? You're likely going to have home court advantage. I mean, there's only like 15 games left. Yeah, you're going to have home court advantage in the first round. There's a lot of positivity coming there. Meanwhile, a team that was built to win. A team that was depending on the linchpin of one Lonzo Ball for all of his success. And now we're currently, I believe, here in Chicago, the Bulls are a half game out of the last play-in spot.
But okay, so are we gassing up the Bulls too much to say, well, they're 5-3 since the break. They're third in offensive rating during that stretch, 6th in defensive rating. I'm a little concerned about tonight.
Yeah, like they're going to beat these are the games that they're going to start winning, Marshall.
You're asking me if this is a game the Kings should take lightly? The Kings cannot afford to take any game lightly.
No, we're saying
I'm concerned about this game for the Kings.
Yes.
Okay, yes, you should be concerned about this game. Zach LaVine is playing like an insane man. He was coming off the surgery in the offseason. He got off to like a really rocky start. And he's been so good of late since the All-Star break, as you mentioned. Since they traded for Pat Beverly, the defense has taken strides. They're not where they need to be, much like the Kings, not where they need to be, but they've taken big strides, right? The Kings play at a pace that's like, okay, the Bulls might just be like, we're good with that. Now, the Nuggets have lost 4 straight. So I'm going to tell you the Bulls beat the Nuggets. And they did it in Denver, though.
Yeah.
So that's like something because the Nuggets don't lose in Denver.
Right.
So, yeah, this game could be very telling for both teams. I know the Kings will be down a man in Trey Lyles. It's so funny, guys, because I tell people the best investment, right? You got to spend money to make money. That's like a saying, right?
Yeah.
The best investment I think I've made since the pandemic started was this year when I said, you know what? I'm buying League Pass. And anybody who lives in the Eastern time zone or the Central time zone, if you want to make money by saving money spend money and save money at the same time, you buy League Pass. I think it was like $100, which is like an all-time low for League Pass at the beginning of the season. And I don't do anything after work because when you look at the teams that play from the Pacific time West, like I get home and I'm catching the second half of like great teams every single night. Like it's not like the teams that play like, early your time. It's not the best investment for people who live out where you live because you're not going to get home in time to watch whatever. But like the Kings, who I was already interested in because like, let me see what this is about. The Warriors, obviously, the Lakers, dumpster fire or not, they're fun to watch. The Clippers, you don't know what's going to happen. Dame time, the Suns, like there is star power up and down the West Coast. And from Denver over, even like the surprising, like Lauri Markkanen and the Jazz, like there's good basketball being played after 9:00.
Marshall, I feel like we just dove right into things. And we haven't talked.
Sorry, my bad.
I just felt like it's so good to hear your voice. I know we talked every once in a while on social. You comment on something, but how are you? Are you like, do you miss Sacramento at all? Or are you just like Chicago? I'm a big market guy, huh?
Is that what you are now?
So funny story. One of my teammates, our weekend sports anchor, Matt Zahn, is currently in Sacramento and asked me, like, oh, tell me recommendations, whatever. So I gave him like some food recommendations. I warned him, everything shuts down early. You want to get your food unless you're going to like go to the drive-through at like In-N-Out. You need to get your food before 9:00 because everything shuts down in Sacramento at 9:00. That's always been my biggest beef with the city of Sacramento, right?
Small city.
But I gave him like breakfast spots to go to. He's staying at that Holiday Inn right on the corner, like right off the freeway, right next to the Golden One. So like everything you really need is there except for maybe breakfast. I gave him some breakfast spots and whatnot. And I was just like, I remember places I love to eat there, and I was just like, yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good to go. So I'm doing well here in Chicago. It is 50 degrees and sunny today. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot,
no, that's
but
a big
I need
deal.
y'all to understand 50 and sunny here is like 75 and sunny there. Like, yeah, could it be warmer? Sure. But are you good with doing whatever you want to do outside? Absolutely. There's people walking around in shorts out here.
Hell yeah.
Marshall, you sound so great, and just know that we miss you a lot, but so happy for you. But now that you see the king succeeding with you gone, are you kind of sad that you're not experiencing that?
I would love to be there. And, I knew that when the Kings turned things around, it would be like a renaissance for that entire city, right? Like I understood, and a lot of people who are not sports fans there didn't understand why the Kings being bad for so long. Like to understand that a kid could be in college and not know what it was like for the Kings to be in the playoffs. You could grow up in Sacramento, you could be out of college. Let's be honest. Cause you're like, what, 4 or 5 years old before you start like things start registering.
Yes.
Like you're literally out of college and you've never seen the Kings in the playoffs. That like, think about that. Wrap your head around that. Like you guys are old enough because y'all are like not old like me. You're not grown.
We're not that old, Mark. You're right. We're not that old.
Yeah, you're grown, but you're not grown. I'm older. I'm grown.
No, you're not.
Remember, Black Don't Crack. We still out here. We still out here. All right, so to answer your question, yeah, I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't there for the I don't even know what to call it. But
the come up?
It's more than a come up. It's more than a glow up. It's something completely different. And De'Aaron Fox is becoming that dude. I mean, like I said, I get home and watch. I was going back and forth between the Kings and the Warriors. Was that 2 nights ago? When I don't know who's stopping Giannis. I thought just foul him. Just foul him. Like, what are y'all doing? Just foul him. Because you have a better chance of fouling him than watching him Euro step by your would-be defender and dunking on you in the clutch in the last 2 minutes of a game.
No, that's true.
And I'm not saying the Kings aren't ready for prime time. I don't want fans to, when you've made it as a fan, when you start complaining that your team lost to a guy who could win it, who's been an MVP, a finals MVP. Like, if that's what we're complaining about, you're there. You're where everybody else is that wants to contend.
It was a great game. It was a great game.
It was a great game. The ending was, but it was a great game.
Wait. Why was that? Would you not like about Trey Lyles getting feisty and pushing guys?
Here's why. I understand both sides of that because I watched enough to see Brook Lopez doing his things before we got to that point, and then I also saw how Giannis kind of, I'm gonna drift into your guy. There was no need for that. And like the best part of that video, like, and I watched it live. The best part is like Giannis looking back, like, what happened? Like, whatever happened. And so like, I enjoyed Mike Brown, what he had to say after that game as well about, we're not taking it from anybody. Like, I think that was missing when I lived in Sacramento anyway. Like they wanted to be tough guys, but they weren't tough guys. And so I think it's just beautiful what has happened. And I'm so happy. People always ask, like, for instance, you guys know I lived in Philadelphia for 11 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you rooting for the Eagles? It's like, it's not even that I'm rooting for the Eagles. I just know how much joy it would give so many of my friends and friends who are close enough to me that I call family to see the Eagles win, that of course I'm going to be happy for that city if they win, Yeah. So like same thing goes for the people in Sacramento. I have so many people that I love and care about for my 2.5 years in Sacramento that if the Kings do well, I'm all about, live your best life. Sports brings us together. And I think we forget that sometimes in these divisive polarizing times. One thing we can all get on board with is people just being happy for a good and pure reason.
Yeah, I'm going to be divisive for a second.
Oh,
though.
God.
I love a little division.
No, because I just heard all this like, oh, Sacramento, such a great time there.
Yeah,
the fans. And then while he's talking about it, I was connecting the dots, and his colleague who he works with is in Sacramento to cover Northwestern, the NCAA tournament. You think Marshall would be like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to go. It's my old stomping ground.
Too big time.
I'm going to go connect with Deuce and Mo, D-Lo. Like, we're going to all hang out, have a good time. No, you just stayed back in Chicago. That's interesting. And I mean, you're the guy. You could have decided to come to Sacramento.
So here's the thing.
Right?
Is that our
executive sports producer was like, we're gonna let Matt travel wherever they go. This is determined before the sites, before we knew who was going where. I had just worked 8 straight days in Arizona for spring training, covering the Cubs and the White Sox. And then I was home for 6 days. I'd been out of town 14 of 16 days leading up to about the week before the Big Ten tournament, tournament week, if you will. And I was just like, that's fine. And she was like, well, if Northwestern or Illinois win 2 games, you're probably going to have to work 18 days straight or whatever. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll take one for the team. So that's why I'm here. It's not because I didn't want to come.
Hey, we'll give you that.
I'll accept it.
Yeah.
I'll accept it at this point.
I love Sac. I'm trying to get back. I am literally trying to get back out there soon.
So one thing we do need to talk about, you had mentioned De'Aaron Fox and kind of what he's been able to do. Just when you're watching him, what's jumped out to you? What has been different in your eyes with his game?
I think it's a couple of things. Like, I'm a nerd. I'm a stickler. Like, if you're going to be a point guard and you're going to have the usage rate that De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis, and this is my big knock on Sabonis, but whatever. It's with Sabonis, it's a good enough trade-off because he does so many different things. You got to be able to hit your free throws. De'Aaron Fox likes to hit free throws now. He didn't always like to hit free throws. His confidence level, it's like he's never, maybe since I'm trying to think of when Russell Westbrook really kind of fell off in terms of his explosiveness, but he's the most explosive point A to point B guy in the league. Like you need him to get from the free throw line to the hoop in a certain number of seconds. Giannis can do it in the fewest steps. De'Aaron Fox can do it the fastest, right? And his ability to know that other teams know that, and therefore being able to knock down elbow area jumpers, like that's like don't shoot long twos. No, you can just own the mid range. Yep. You're talking to a guy. You're gonna see a lot of mid range tonight.
DeRozan,
DeMar DeRozan, you're gonna see a whole lot of mid range tonight. I think that for me, it's just his confidence. It's just natural growth. We live in an instant society, right? Like, oh, we drafted somebody, they should be good like next year or 2 years or 3 years. No, it takes like 4 or 5 years when somebody's like 18, 19 years old coming into the league.
Right.
And, I think him being reunited with his college teammate, Malik Monk, I thought that was like the biggest steal of the offseason. I was like, that dude is going to thrive. Because it wasn't like he was bad for the Lakers last year, right? He just, like, what's he going to do? Now he has a real role. And the whole thing with Mike Brown and the what was it, a team dinner where they talked about the roles and everybody wasn't happy with it, but like as long as you know what it is, you can't complain about it down the road. Like this is what we feel like we need to win. That's what a coach is supposed to do, right? They're done. And Fox is what's the new award that he's about to win? He's about to win that award.
Yeah,
he's about to win that award, the new one that they just created. And I'm good with that. Like the hockey style awards named after people. I'm good with that too. But I think Fox is just taking his level to the next game. And now he's getting validated by the All-Star game. He's getting validated by getting the calls he used to not get. Remember the first 3 years in the league, he wasn't getting calls when he would get contact.
Yep.
And now if you mess around and get too close to him, you're going to get the whistle. And that gives him a level of confidence where maybe he didn't have before. Remember, I have a biased view on Fox because I've watched a whole lot of fourth quarters with Fox because I get home at night and I turn on League Pass. And voila.
That is so wow. You get to really watch in some special times, like you're saying. And because it's a magical experience watching someone go off and the ability to point at a spot and be like, yeah, I'm going to go there, but I know I'm going to go there and I'm still going to make it. It's the leap he's taken. Marshall has just been incredible. And obviously, like you said, like this entire team and the leap that they have taken as an entire squad. But, they still have, like, even on this road trip, they're playing 3 teams under 500. And I get nervous around this time. This is the time when it's like, okay, what's going to be your mentality? Are you going to be one of those teams that locked in? They haven't been here before. So when I look at a team like tonight against the Bulls, who have been playing much better, what's been making the Bulls more special as of late?
I think really it starts with Zach LaVine. Like I'm serious. Just watch him tonight. Just his level of confidence is back to when it was. He was obviously didn't make the All-Star team this year, but he had been an All-Star last season and prior. So like he's back to like premium level, and he knows it's go time. he had never been to the playoffs before last year, which is wild because you think about how long he's been in the league between Minnesota and Chicago. And he understands now what it takes. They got beat 4-1 by the Bucks in the first round last year. I mean, a lot of teams would be in that same position. But I just think his confidence level, and also DeMar DeRozan kind of like stepping, I'm not going to say back, but like to the side and letting Levine do his thing. They were doing a better job of working through Vucevic, who could give Sabonis some problems because of just the nature of his game. He's a very poor man's Jokic. And I know you could probably say the same thing about Sabonis in a way, but I think Pat Beverly being on this team, because he's from Chicago, he came back, he's given them kind of an edge. I told my aforementioned executive sports producers, like, I'm just here so that when the Bulls win that play-in game, I want to see Pat Bev jump on the table and talk.
Oh, God.
That's the only reason I'm here.
And I think he might just be, like you said, from Chicago. He'd be pretty fired up about that.
Come on. Like, I'm here for the moments. At my grand old age, I just live for the moments. I enjoy the journey. Like you guys are enjoying the journey right now. And that's what I encourage all Sacramento Kings fans to do. It has been a special season, an amazing season, already filled with great moments, whether in the clutch or just blowing people out. Or, like the offense just runneth over, obviously. So enjoy the journey. Don't worry about what's going to happen in the playoffs. Because if the Kings do mess around and they're the 3 seed and have to play the Warriors, or have to, you could play somebody, or LeBron comes back and you have to play the Lakers as a 6 seed. Don't let that shape how the season went. Because it's year one. There's going to be other years. It's just year one.
By the way, the game tonight, Vegas thinks it's going to be close. The Kings favorite just by 1.5 tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be a close game. Going back to what you were just saying, talking about enjoying the journey, I'm with you. Dude, I've been saying there's nothing like the come up, right? The excitement, because next year there's going to be expectations, right?
Yep.
Can you get further? Oh, they only won 2 more games, or they're behind the pace of last year. Enjoy these moments. With that said, do you, based on what you've seen, do you think the Kings could win a series? The media's hyping them up a little bit right now. Some people have mentioned conference finals. Do you think that they have enough to get into the second round this year?
So a couple of things. I was interested to see if they could pass Memphis. I see Ja's coming back soon. I don't know. The Grizzlies had I think a better record without Ja last year than they did with him, percentage wise. But I'm interested to see what the matchup is. That'll be what dictates, I think, whether they win or not. It's hard for me to pick the Kings over the Dubs or a healthy Suns team or a healthy Lakers or Clippers. Just the experience. It's different. Playoff basketball, as you guys know, is different. You want to run up and down the court and get points off turnovers and all this, but that's not how playoff basketball works. It's a half-court game, which is great because you have Domantas Sabonis who can facilitate and create. You have De'Aaron Fox who can obviously create for himself and others. You've got spot-up shooters, Murray. You've got players that can do that. I just defensively, I wonder. And then I think the end of the Bucks game, Giannis notwithstanding, was a microcosm of how things could quickly go wrong
fast.
Basketball, that's what playoff is. It's every possession is so much more valuable than what we look at in the regular season. But yes, I think they could win a playoff series. It just depends on who they're going up against.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, Marshall, it's exactly what we keep saying. Okay. Funny thing, to start this season, Marshall, I was like, I think maybe the Kings will be in the play-in conversation. Anytime anyone said playoffs to me, I was like, no, you guys, they're not going to take that leap this first year with Mike Brown. That's just not how sports work. You got to take time and develop. No, they are so quick with everything. And I'm talking about the way that they play on the floor, their mentality, everything has just taken a leap. It's matured. And there's just something. I've doubted them for so long. And I didn't believe, and there's something about this season and this team where I'm like, if they were in a first round or in a playoff series, whatever, that they have the right people on their team with the right mindsets. So even though they don't have that experience, there's going to be something about that maturity with this crew, with the chemistry that they have, that could help them get to that next level or to that next playoff series. But yes, like you said, it's a whole different game. Still nervous about it. I did want to ask him really quick too, Pat Beverly. Have you been out to practice and covered him? Is he an interesting guy?
I have not been able to go out to practice.
Okay.
I was out of town for so much, they're just now getting back. They just got back from a 2-game road trip when I got back into town. I have not, but I've heard everything he's had to say in practice. We have a camera out there. He's a wild one. He's a wild one. And have the little beep button ready when he's talking.
Oh God.
Yeah, he's uncensored, as it were. One other thing I did want to say that I didn't mention. I think the X factor for the Kings in the playoffs, and this is kind of crazy, the old man who's not really old at all, but the guy with championship experience on your team, Harrison Barnes has to play premium basketball.
Yes.
He has to. Like, if he doesn't play, he goes up and down, right? And he has had great games this season, but he's had games where he's in single-digit scoring, and not that he doesn't do other things well, but, Harrison Barnes has got to give you some stuff. He has to. That's what he's here for. And if he doesn't do that, they will not win. I don't care who they're playing against. If Harrison Barnes isn't playing well, it's not going to go well.
Yeah, and the last time he was in the playoffs, it did not go well for him. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
It's been a long time, man, since he played in the Warriors. That's pre-Durant.
That was a long time
ago.
That
was a very long time ago. So he's about to end the drought. Just crazy that we can even have these conversations, man. Marshall, dude, it's been too long. I'm glad you're doing well. We seriously can't thank you enough for spending some time with us, dude.
And anytime y'all need me, just holler at your boy. I'm hanging out in Chicago.
We're down, man. I miss your energy so much. It's
seriously,
yeah.
And you guys, by the way, are killing it.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Proud of you guys, as you know. I tell you all the time.
I know you do.
No, whatever. Proud of you guys.
No, and people should know this
from
too.
the start.
Marshall, when they brought us on CBS Sacramento, and our podcast was still growing, and you put us over.
Always
in such a big
believed in
way.
us, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your support, man.
No problem. You guys have a wonderful evening. I can't wait to see what happens tonight.
Go Kings! Bye, Marshall.